As we said at the top, Celtics were a better road team, as Mo Williams is bumped this year, than a home team. And the home record was 24-17. As we see this last LeBron James play.
Trust your receiver, the ability to catch and finish. Not a great pass from Mo Williams, but when you have a big-time receiver, you find a way to make the quarterback look good.
And right there, that's Kendrick Perkins' responsibility on that little brush screen. It's not like O'Neal's going to pop out and catch it and make it 12-footer. You got to do multiple things. You got to protect that basket. That's your job.
Well, Anderson Varejao comes into the game and a turnover there, traveling violation. Shaquille O'Neal leads. Give credit to the guy that responded. Question marks. Shaq can't play anymore, not given great minutes. He certainly stepped up and really was a force on the boards, interior scoring, defensively.
12 points, 9 rebounds, and he got some of the early buckets just to help set the tone. Obviously, it was James leading the way. So 2 veterans with all the playoff experience on the road. Tony Allen, the jump shot. All right, Mark, if you're a player, what's going through your head right now if you're on the Celtics?
Well, I thought you were going to say if I was on the Cavs.
No, I'm going the other way.
I'd be thinking this guy number 23 is a bad man. But if I'm on the Celtics, I'm thinking, let's build something. Let's try to chip away and gain some momentum. Get back to what got us to this point.
Number 20, Ray Allen, and it's his second personal, 3rd team foul. Timeout, Cleveland.
This year, HP TouchSmart PC playoff brackets. Phoenix up 2-0. Lakers up 2-0. They'll play at Salt Lake City tomorrow night on ABC. Orlando still without a loss in the playoffs. And Cleveland looking like they're on the verge of going up 2-1. Unless we have one of the most incredible comebacks in the history of sports. As Delonte West knocks down the jumper. Lead is as big as 30. And we're coming up on 2.5 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter. Tony Allen gets in. Nate Robinson seeing some action and hits the 3-pointer. Robinson has played just limited minutes in the playoffs, just his 5th game. He's played only about 13 minutes, but knocks down the 3.
He came up 2 games short of making $1 million bonus. If I was him, he didn't play much at the end of the year. I would have given Doc Rivers 250 of that just to put me in the game, so I'd get my bonus.
Delonte West, what he did is when he signed his 1-year contract with the Knicks, he was given $1 million bonus if they made the playoffs. And because that's part of his contract, Knicks obviously didn't make the playoffs. When they traded him to Boston, it stayed intact, but there was a minimum amount of games that he had to play to get the bonus. He was on track, and the Celtics, not only did they save the $1 million of giving it to him, but saved another $1 million in the luxury tax. James fakes, rifle pass inside. Jamison can't get it to go. Jamison fouled on the follow. Look at the Cavs. They're up by 25 and still battling.
But you know what? That's one of the biggest changes in Boston from last year to this year. They went from being a very good rebounding team to now a below-average rebounding team. Right there, they have nobody in there clearing space and getting traffic rebounds.
During the regular season, they were 29th. Hard to imagine you could be 29th in rebounding, such an important stat, and still win 50 games.
Well, they were still a very good defensive team and a very good offensive team, but just like in special teams, they had a big hole in their rebounding game.
Garnett and Perkins, both who came in with injuries. Garnett with the right foot strain, Perkins the right knee strain. He might be done for the evening when Robinson draws the foul. Varejao the personal. Garnett played so well in the first 2 games. Shot the ball well tonight. And again, it was at the other end of the floor that the dominance took hold. Robinson will get some time here. At what point, Jeff, as a coach, do you say, okay, let's just let the reserves come in and have my starters rest and relax?
Well, I think for Cleveland, they want to finish out this quarter. You know, hey, this game's over, okay? But you want to finish out the quarter strong. I would even say the first 2 minutes of the final quarter. Make sure there is no miracle, even in the offering. Remember, Celtics that 1 year against the Nets had that incredible comeback. You don't want to mess around. You want to make sure you get the win and also, at the same time, try to crush the Celtics' spirit and confidence to have any chance in this series.
Varejao knocks down the shot. That was the 2002 Eastern Conference Finals. He was here at the TD Garden. That was the Antoine Walker Paul Pierce days. I believe they were down 20 to start the fourth quarter. Came back and won. Of course, they had that great comeback in the finals against the Lakers, but they started their comeback in the second period.
Hold up, this guy.
Look at Nate Robinson.
But hold up, this guy just said this game is over.
It is.
If I'm at home watching this game, you have to give me a reason to stick around.
Number 23. He may do something good, but as far as the result, put your head down and take a nap. This game is over.
Get ready as Parker puts it in. Get ready for the Suns and the Spurs.
I'm a truth teller. What do you want me to say? Oh, they could do it. They could count baskets for 4 points for the Celtics, and it's not going to help. Hey, it's nights like this. This is why they're the best team in basketball. If they bring their best game, they're not getting beat.
They have the best record in the NBA. As Nate Robinson comes off the bench, he has 8 points in 3 minutes. And they've cut it to 26. Shot clock is turned off. What a game for number 23. 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. Answering all the doubt after the poor performance by the team in Game 2. James doesn't get it to go. And that will end the third quarter. All LeBron, all Cavaliers. As Cleveland responds in an impressive way after the Game 2 loss. They're up by 26 as we head to the fourth. Cleveland all over Boston, 96-7 as we start the fourth quarter. Nothing Boston can do and stop the Cavs tonight. Nothing Danny Ainge can do can stop them. Ainge, of course, made big news at the end of Game 2, throwing up the towel from his baseline seat. And for his actions, he was fined $25,000 by the NBA. Became a big story here in Boston. And Doc Rivers was asked, what is Ainge going to do for an encore?
Well, that was pretty good. I mean, I got to say it was hilarious. And if you know Danny, how competitive he is, he needed to get himself into the game somehow. I just think Danny was jealous at all the other techs that we've all had. You know, Rasheed Wallace, Kendrick Perkins, myself, Rondo. We've all had techs, and I think Danny just wanted to join in on the fine pool that we've done so well this year. We've now broken the record.
Well, he was taking some ribbing. Ainge said he was just having some fun with the fans who were around the basket at the time, but also realized that it was the wrong thing to do.
Oh, come on. Hey, this is a big something out of nothing. Finding a guy $25,000 for having a little fun? Are you kidding me? That's a joke. Listen, they said it was an unauthorized distraction. I got a couple unauthorized distractions and things detrimental to the game. How can you get on him for throwing a white flag when they give out thunder sticks at games? Those mind-numbing, clanky things. Come on. Can't we have, like, some fun? Do we take ourselves so seriously that we think we have to take somebody's money for every little thing? Gosh.
Backs it in, and Doc Rivers calls a timeout.
Are you finished?
I mean, come on, that's funny. That's funny.
You can't do that. I agree. You cannot do that. I don't agree with you. I agree that you can't do that if you're Danny Ainge.
Doc Rivers said that's one expensive towel. Sharp. Boy, Phoenix very impressive the way they won those two games.
You know, I'm going to say this as Pierce lines up a three. won with, obviously, Steve Nash playing a great game offensively, but they won by making some hard-fought stops. Give Grant Hill credit defensively against Ginobili, and you know what's gone under the radar? Just how good a job Alvin Gentry has done there. No one has talked enough about the transformation from being just an offensive team to a well-balanced team.
Unusual, he would credit the coach. No, he has done a great job.
And you know what? He did a good job at the other jobs he had, but he had horrible teams.
I tell you what, reading the stories by each guy for the Phoenix Suns, they said all of a sudden we began to take time in practice and work on defense, individually and collectively. You don't become a good defensive team by accident. You put yourself in position to get stops when it matters most by working.
He's been in the NBA a long time and getting a chance, one of the more personable guys, but can be demanding as well. The players love him. How about one player talking about going under the radar? Jared Dudley all of a sudden has become a really good NBA player.
He's done a great job coming off that bench and doing whatever's asked of him.
Nate Robinson misses. Rondo the rebound. And it's still Celtic ball.
The thing I like most about Jared Dudley, he does an outstanding impersonation of Mama There Goes That Man.
He does?
Yeah, the best.
He does?
Yes, outstanding.
Well, he could have said it about himself the other night and pointed at himself, because Mama there went a rebounder the other night.
Robinson goes to the basket, up and under, and Ray Allen's foul. 10:22 remaining. If you're a coach and you're Mike Brown right now, even though you're up by 28, you're watching him, he still keeps looking up at the clock. The clock can't go fast enough. As a coach, even when you're up this much, sometimes you never can really relax, right, Jeff?
Well, that's true, but also I think what he's really thinking about is reservations for dinner right now. I think Mike Brown knows, you know, it's 10 more minutes. Stop fouling. I'm hungry. And make sure LeBron doesn't get hurt.
And I think the other thing you're thinking about if you're Mike Brown is, how are we going to handle this success? Are we going to be greedy and have the disease of more, wanting to not just win Friday, but let's take care of business on Sunday also? Come here to win 2 ball games.
Yeah, they've regained the home court advantage with this Game 3 performance. They will have home court throughout the playoffs. Best record in the NBA. Back-to-back 60-win seasons. 61 this year after 66 last year. But they still have to prove they can get it done in the playoffs as James rejects Garnett. Rondo puts it in. And Mike Brown calls timeout. James with 35 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 block shots. And Mike Brown wants the target over still. Certainly was. Not desperation for the Cavs, but they came through. Speaking of husband and wives, Jay-Z and Beyonce signing autographs during the timeout. I don't know if they're enjoying the blowout. What do you think he's rooting for?
He's rooting for his boy, LeBron James.
All right.
I think Mike Brown loves one of their songs also. When he looks at LeBron James, he's crazy in love.
I think I'd look good in big sunglasses, too, like they have.
I don't think so.
I do. I think I would.
Let's see if we can borrow these and try it out.
James fouled by Pierce in the act of shooting. Pierce a little stunned by the call. So James will go to the free throw line. James made All-NBA first teams this week. It was announced. Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, the guards. James and Durant, the forwards. And Dwight Howard, the center. Tough to argue any of those selections for the first team. Second team. Look at that backup guard situation. Darren Williams and Nash. Carmelo Anthony, Dirk Nowitzki, and Amari Stoudemire. And then the third team had Gasol and Duncan. Andrew Bogut getting the All-NBA third team. Nice for him to get recognition. Phil Johnson and Brandon Roy, the guards.
And I'm telling you what, I don't know who's coming off, but Gasol is on my second team. And secondly, Andrew Bogut didn't make the All-Star team, but makes third team All-NBA. That's good for him.
Well, we'd like to see the Bucks be able to play with him in that series against Atlanta. Ball swatted. Is it a goaltend? Officials looking. A foul is called. And they're going to call a goaltend. Mark Rivers has been unhappy right from the start with his team's play. And they have gotten wasted here in Game 3. Still has 4 of the 5 starters out on the floor. As Garnett hits the free throw.
I got to rewind back. You want the soul in that second team. I don't think you can take anybody off. When you take a look at Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire,
First of all, there's no centers on there. They just looked at another forward.
and Dirk Nowitzki.
All right. I'm taking Stoudemire off.
Are you aware of his numbers and what type of year he has?
Hey, I may take. As I was watching I may take Dwight Howard off the first team and put Gasol in there. I think he's that good. I don't know if there's a better big man, two-way player in basketball than Pau Gasol.
So you're going to take.
I'm taking everybody off. I want Pau Gasol on one of the first 2 teams. You heard me right.
The foul before the shot by James. LeBron James still wanting a call despite the fact that they're blowing him out. It's a wire-to-wire blowout. And James is going to go to the free throw line. What they're saying is it shouldn't be in the act of shooting. It's only the second team foul, but James did, after the foul, before he put the ball on the floor, put it up toward the basket. Another terrific performance in Boston. Speaking of Amari Stoudemire, Alvin Gentry giving him some last-minute instructions as he gets set to play on the road in San Antonio, Game 3 of that series. Stoudemire, another of the free agents this summer.
I think I overheard what Alvin Gentry was telling him. You would not believe what Jeff Van Gundy just said on TV.
No, you know what he's really saying? Listen, I would give you that $100 million extension. It's Robert Sarver, the owner, that's holding back. I'm with you, big guy.
Technical fouls handed out. Now a little chippy with Varejao and Kevin Garnett. And Garnett getting the technical. Still a lot of time to play for some frustrated players. That's something the officials are going to watch these two.
The thing you want to do in these situations, you don't want to let it get out of hand, out of control. Stay the course. If you're the Cavs or the Celtics, no sense in losing a guy for a game or for a series.
Crowd is expressing their displeasure. Again, with 8.5 remaining, and it's been a blowout from pretty much the second quarter. Actually, the first quarter was 36-17 after 1, and the Celtics never threatened. Shot clock down to 4. Tony Allen not aware. And Parker bails him out. Anthony Parker picks up the personal. That's the 4th foul on Parker. And the 15th foul, so free throws.
Tony Allen at the line has 2 shots.
Well, I had a feeling this was going to be a good, tough, close series, perhaps going 7 games. Didn't expect back-to-back blowouts as Allen misses. Speaking of blowouts, Atlanta trying to recover from the Game 1 blowout. They'll host the Orlando Magic tomorrow night on ESPN. Lakers in Utah and Salt Lake City on ABC. And in Phoenix and San Antonio, they'll play on TNT Sunday night. And then they're playing tonight, Game 3 in Texas, coming up after this one. 4 minutes gone by here in the 4th. This has been one of the more dominant playoff performances you can see. Cavs just taking it to the Celtics right from the opening tip. And James has just been marvelous. Falls back. Short. Pierce the rebound. Pierce for three. Allen, the offensive board. Celtics have to get Pierce a little untracked as Allen banks it in. Pierce has not shot well in this series. In game 1, he was 5 of 17, 4 of 10 in game 2, and he's just 4 of 15 here in game 3.
And that's why if I'm Mike Brown, I may be taking LeBron James out, but I'm going to keep a defender on him. I don't want to have him get any rhythm over the last few minutes of this game where he feels at all good about his offensive game.
So a player who's struggling, even in blowout when it's meaningless minutes, you can still, that's a confidence builder.
Well, absolutely. Coach, you're 100% right. A lot of times in situations like that, that's where guys establish a rhythm and get out of their funk.
I still remember the year we lost to Miami in the playoffs. We let Dan Marley get off. And from then on, Marley was a bear from behind the three-point line, and we had him totally shut off until that point.
Foul call as Mo Williams goes to the basket. Dan Marley, now an assistant coach with the Phoenix Suns. As Jamison comes in, you know, Marley's one of those guys that became an assistant and wasn't sure if that's what he wanted to do. Now he loves it and would like to be a head coach someday. Only his second year as an assistant coach.
You'd love it too if you had Steve Nash. Do your work, Steve. No, I'm serious. Hey, winning makes the job a heck of a lot more enjoyable.
By the way, I'm the only...
There's not too many assistants on the New Jersey Nets this year saying, hey, I'm really loving this.
I'm the only person in this broadcast booth who has not been mentioned as a candidate for head coaching vacancy. Though I'd like to throw my hat in the ring.
You notice how quiet it got?
As far as I know, Lisa hasn't. Lisa Salters hasn't been asked. Tony Allen on the drive, gets inside, banks it in. With 6:24 remaining.
In youth sports, there's a mercy rule where the game just ends. Can't we just start the Spurs game?
Well, I've always loved your rule, though I don't think you can use it in the playoffs. I think only in the regular season. About if the team is down by 25 or more, if they hit a half-court shot, tie game.
Mike, why are you encouraging this guy? Seriously. Seriously.
No, see, you know what? Because he's mining the mind and the thoughts of me, where some people like yourself would just disdain my radical ideas. I even get tired of myself. So don't feel you're the only one. That is a stupid idea. And I don't like to use stupid because that's a bad word. But it was stupid.
That sounds like that's something you tell your kids. Don't use that word.
Bad word.
Like Jeff and I were walking to the game today, and a Celtic fan walked by and said, "Hey, there's JoJo White." This guy pointed to me and thought I was JoJo White, the legendary Boston Celtic that is at least 60 years old. I got to get some rest.
No, I'm saying it's either a good thing for JoJo White about his youthful look, or it's a bad thing about Mark Jackson.
Well, last week I got a cabbie.
There's JoJo. He is looking good.
That's Mark Jackson.
JoJo does look good. I got the cabbie thought I was Jerry Sloan last week.
Wow.
Jerry Sloan looks better than you.
And younger.
All right, Mark, his work is done. 38 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Meanwhile, more NBA playoff action tomorrow night from Atlanta. First at 5 Eastern. Our coverage begins 4:30 with Kia NBA Shoot-Around, Magic and Hawks from Atlanta, then Lakers and Jazz on ABC primetime tomorrow night from Salt Lake City. Orlando and LA both leading their series 2-0. Celtics will now fall behind 2-1 in this best-of-7 series. You look at the two games. Game 2, Cavs at home trail by as many as 25, lose by 18. Game 3, Celtics at home trail by as many as 30. And will suffer one of the worst home playoff losses in Celtics history, the way this is going. What do you expect for Game 4? Who can tell? Mo Williams, Antoine Jamison, a couple of starters still in with Jamario Moon, Delonte West, and J.J. Hickson. Doc Rivers has taken out his players. And there's a foul call on Jamison. So it's Sheldon Williams, Glenn Davis, Tony Allen, Nate Robinson, and Marquise Daniels. Mike Brown can empty his bench as well.
But he's not going to totally empty it because of Ilgauskas. You know, he's not going to play him in this situation. And this is, I feel for Ilgauskas. You know, he's such a big part of their run, but he's sort of been bypassed right now because of O'Neal and the development and emergence of J.J. Hickson. And I think Mike Brown's made the right decision for his rotation, but it must be tough on Ilgauskas.
Do you go, like in a situation like this, rather than put him in, you go to the player, and do you say, you want to go in? How do you handle that as a coach?
I wouldn't in the playoffs. If I felt it was best for him, he has to play so you can get Delonte West out or Hickson out, whatever it is. You know, it's about what's doing right for the team, not what's right for the individual.
Meanwhile, a nice ovation from the crowd remaining for Leon Powe. Leon Powe now with the Cavaliers, was part of that championship team with the Celtics in 2008 and one of Doc Rivers' favorite players. But Powe suffered that major knee injury. Took him a long time to get back. Played sparingly with the Cavaliers. He's still working his way back. There's Powe, very popular player here in Boston. And they think he can do some good things, but he still has a ways to go to get back to 100%. Daniels misses Powe the rebound.
Well, and you think about it, he wasn't active in the games in Cleveland. Jawad Williams was. But in this game, they activate him, most likely because he's coming back to Boston. That's a class move by Mike Brown.
West gets whacked in the head by Tony Allen.
You know, making all of these moves that you're talking about, whether it be Ilgauskas on the bench, whether it be situation with Leon Powe, this is a total team. I watched them after losing to the Celtics leave the floor. Each guy standing there giving each other dap, almost as if to say without saying, we'll get him in Boston. Settle down. Everything's going to be all right. Never panicking. This is a total team, and that's why they win ball games.
Again, as we talked at the top, you can't overreact to one game in the postseason. And the Cavaliers certainly did that. You don't expect the Celtics to do that. They'll be the team, the hungrier team, come Sunday afternoon. At least you'd expect that. After being embarrassed here on the home floor, getting booed by the crowd.
But to me, if Cleveland plays well, they'll win the game. I mean, because they're starting with a talent advantage, and particularly because of LeBron James. So that's what's best when you're the best team. If you play well, you win.
But I think if you're the Celtics, you should overreact. Overreact to the way you got manhandled. Overreact to the way you didn't show up to play. They outworked you and took the game to you.
Well, somewhat like Mike Brown reacted very strongly after their Game 2 loss. Both home games, you could make the case that Boston was the more physical, more urgent team, and Mike Brown let him have it.
And it's out of character for him, and it's, you know, like most coaches, sometimes you play poorly, but when the effort doesn't seem to be there, and it's very surprising, this Cavs team all season long, they play with energy, they play hard, but it didn't seem to be the case. LeBron James, how many times can you say this was tentative? Not tonight, as Davis knocks down the shot. What a turnaround. They've led by double figures from 6 minutes into the game on. The closest Boston was in the second half was 20. And after the first quarter, the score was 36-17. Game over. And Leon Powe with some nice applause from some of the Celtic fans.
But even in a situation like that, that's not an accident that they get Leon Powe a shot. That's a design play, understanding the situation and getting him a set look off a pick and roll.
Under 3 minutes remaining in this blowout victory. Powe gets it blocked. Tony Allen.
He's not running well, though.
He's got that heavy brace on the left knee where he had the surgery. Robinson misses. Tip to West. 120 points by the Cavaliers, and they've slowed down. 61% shooting from the field. They hit 27 of 30 from the free throw line. Didn't have to take a lot of threes. Only 5 of 11 because the Celtic defense wasn't there. And we'll have a timeout. This one winding down. And that one getting ready to get started from the AT&T Center in San Antonio. Suns and Spurs. Phoenix up 2-0. Still to come tonight on ESPN. That's the score with 2:22 remaining. Hard to believe Celtics down 33 at home in a playoff game. As we look at our Windows 7 winning combination, here's the reason why they're 33 down.
Well, he just took over right from the start. 14 for 22. Did it at both ends. A committed defender, and I love watching him pass. This was a tremendous performance in a need-win situation. And I really think there's a large percentage of babies being born tonight in Ohio being named LeBron. Baby boys. They're going to be named LeBron or LeBronette.
LeBronette?
But whatever. Listen, if you're watching Passing the Time in the delivery room and you're not sure of a name, you're going with LeBron or LeBronette.
Can you do me a favor, though? Can you please tell the audience the question that you just asked me during the break? No, you got to share it with the audience.
I just think, well, I was just saying, like Beyonce, I think is looking down here saying, I look pretty good. You know, she keeps, I don't want to be like trying to get eye contact. I don't want her to try to get eye contact with me.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, it's a blowout. What do you want me to say? It's been going on for since the second quarter.
I think I read her lips. She said, "Isn't that Stan's brother?"
Oh.
Again, Game 4 will be Sunday afternoon. And it'll be on ABC. Can the Celtics respond anyway close to the way the Cavaliers respond after their Game 2 loss? Tony Allen tried to throw it down, and his former teammate with the foul.
Now this guy could have taken it from the Jigga Man.
She likes the D. She like that defensive stance.
Robbie Benson is in the house.
Oh, come on now. Robbie Benson. That was one of my favorite movies. One on One.
Great movie.
Up yours with a red hot poker. That was a great line. Oh.
As a coach, you appreciated that line from a player?
Well, that guy was sort of mean. That coach. He was a mean coach.
Did you just say something bad about a coach? Oh, that wasn't a real coach.
That's the only time some guy in a movie.
He said he was mean.
He was. He was a mean coach.
And it was hard for him to say that. Moon misses. And mercifully, this one coming to an end. Tony Allen back to Davis. And Gibson commits the foul. Well, Major League Baseball continues Sunday and Monday nights on ESPN. The Yankees and Red Sox from Fenway Park, 8 Eastern on Sunday Night Baseball. Road, they're playing tonight. What was the latest score? Yanks were winning early, weren't they?
Yeah, 3-1. A-Rod was 2 for 3.
Meanwhile, some news out of San Antonio. The second game of our doubleheader. Tony Parker back in the starting lineup. He was coming off the bench since he returned from the injury. But he'll start tonight as the Spurs try and get a win in that series.
I'm sure that's a surprise from Tony Parker, because reading his statements, he said if you know Coach Popovich, he normally sticks to his decisions.
Well, and his decision is he's got to make Steve Nash guard somebody, and he wants him to have to guard Tony Parker off pick and rolls.
122-94. Even the most optimistic Cavs fan did not expect this. As Davis fouls Boobie Gibson. Gibson, who has not played much in these playoffs. In the end, you look back, Gibson, such a key part of their 2007 march to the finals. He's been a good player and has played well in playoff action, but tough for him to get minutes on this very deep team.
You've got to give guys like he and Ilgauskas credit. There's a lot of guys in this league who would mope and complain and try to undermine the team's success because it wasn't going well for them.
And these are guys that were part of a team that went to the finals. Big part. But they understand what's needed now, and they give them credit because they stay ready.
Ball stripped for the foul with 21.2 remaining.
You know, and they probably disagree with the decision that they're not. You have to. If you're a player, you have to have such a strong belief in yourself that you feel you would be a better option, and at the same time accept the coach's decision. And I give credit to the players, but also to the leadership of the team. LeBron James, Mike Brown, Danny Ferry, for communicating just what they expect of each player.
You know, what you want to piggyback that, what you want from guys is explain to me that you really want to win. You want to be part of a winning situation. If you do, then you will handle the role that's presented to you.
Now the Cavs can just dribble it out. What a strong answer from their poor performance in Game 2 as the Cavs take apart the Celtics' complete destruction in what was going to turn into be the worst home playoff loss in Celtics history. They'll lose by 29 and take a 2-1 lead, the Cavs will, in this best-of-7 series. Dominance led by LeBron James and a brilliant night. 38 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists as he leads his team right from the start. That opening period told the story. They went up 36-17. LeBron James had 21 points in the first period. And right away, the Cavs said we're ready to bounce back. A terrific road performance as we send it over to Lisa Salters.
Thank you, Mike. LeBron, what statement did you guys really want to make tonight?
We just wanted to play much better than we did in Game 2. They did a good job of controlling the tempo in Game 2 and just taking advantage of all our mistakes in Game 2. We want to just play a totally different game and erase that game, and we did that today.
For you, 38 points. What impact did hearing all week long about your elbow? What impact did that have on what you wanted to do tonight?
Well, I just think just Game 2 itself. I mean, I know I'm going to hear a lot about the elbow, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to play basketball and try to do what's best for our team to win basketball games, and that's what I did today.
Now, NBA leads, sometimes they don't last that long. How are you guys able to sustain the energy throughout the game?
We just kept the pressure out. We knew how important Game 3 was, giving up Game 2 and giving up home court. So once we got up, we kept the pressure on, we kept attacking, kept getting to the rim, and we was able to finish the game out.
Lastly, I have to wrap, but Jeff Van Gundy believes that Beyonce was actually staring him down during the game, checking him out. What do you think the odds are of that?
Jeff, well, we can tell he wasn't paying attention to the game if that's the case.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys.
The final shot from LeBron James. Cavs shoot 59% from the field and now lead the best-of-7 series 2-1. Coming up shortly on ESPN, Game 3 between the Suns and Spurs from San Antonio. For Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, Lisa Salters, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Green saying so long from Boston. Boston massacre again. Now let's send it to Mark Jones back in the studio.